to all of you from Guruji's sacred OSS ashrams. Let us invoke the blessings of the great ones and allow them to flow into our consciousness through silent meditation for a few minutes, which will heighten our receptivity. So let us have a prayer and then a short meditation. Let us fold our hands. Let us keep our eyes fixed at the point between the eyebrows, slightly uplifted. Keep the body relaxed. O Divine Refuge, with every powerful stroke of my spiritual effort, I am moving nearer to Thee. I shall never give up, for I know Thou dost eagerly look for my coming. Beloved Gurudev, help me to make the right effort which will enable me to enjoy the divine presence in stillness and silence within, and which will equip me to fight for God in the temple of ceaseless activity without. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. When we read the autobiography of Yogi, we get perennial inspiration by recalling these heart-solacing statements by Guruji, found in the last chapter of autobiography, 49th chapter. They are so beautiful. God is love, and His plan for creation can only be rooted in love. Then, there exists a divine universal plan that is beautiful and full of joy. But to discover this, it requires tireless effort to discover this beautiful and joyous divine plan. Also, we have often heard the statement that process is more important than the result, isn't it? Okay, let me illustrate this with a story, a real life story. A little boy had brought a special gift to his revered teacher. The boy was very poor and he was wondering what gift he can bring to the teacher. So he walked long distances along the seashore and he found a simple, elegant seashell. It was very beautiful. So he thought, this is a good gift. I can give it to my teacher. So he had walked long and difficult distances to find the seashell. So he brought it joyously to the teacher and he had wrapped it in a paper. So when the teacher unwrapped, there was a look of surprise on the face of the teacher. So the boy explained, long walk is part of the gift. Long walk is part of the gift. See, now we see our struggles in life and our efforts that we make to win through them by overcoming or rising above them. They are like long, difficult walks. Then our gift becomes very valuable. What is that gift? The gift of our constant, loving attention on God. Constant, loving attention on God. That means we make the effort to remain always peaceful, calm, still, full of God awareness, amidst the crash of breaking worlds. So that is the supreme, most treasured gift of our love, which God wants from us. Now, Guruji encourages us to frequently remind ourselves about our real nature, the purpose of life, why we are here, etc. He explains in a very simple way. Guruji explains things in very memorable ways. And he tells us that God is dreaming the whole creation through each jiva, that is each one of us. But we really understand this or realize this only when we awaken from the dream. Also, this dream is a very structured dream. And so we need to understand the process by which we came out of God, descended to the human consciousness. So traversing the path in the reverse direction, then we will get back to our native state of oneness with God. Very beautiful, isn't it? Okay. Let us assume we are in the Dakshineswara ashram, looking at the flow of holy river Ganga, Mother Ganga, just beyond the walls. We are just enjoying the river flow. Perhaps we may see a boat being rowed upstream against the current. Now, if the boatmen, they stop rowing, then the current will take the boat in the opposite direction where they don't want to go. So this simple observation tells us effort to stay on course and to reach the destination is very important. So effort is progress and the key to success. Okay, now Guruji describes in the poem Samadhi the sacred experience of our oneness with God. To stimulate our efforts to awaken divine recollection of who we really are. So I will quote just a few lines. To make it simple, I will quote in the beginning, from the middle and from the end. The poem starts with these lines. Vanished the wheels of light and shade, lifted every vapor of sorrow. Beautiful, isn't it? Then I come to the middle. Enjoyable beyond imagination of expectancy, Samadhi bliss. And the last line. A tiny bubble of laughter, I am become the sea of mirth itself. Now you see, really it stimulates our thinking. oh, is this what the experience I should be having? Truly, I mean, we all want that samadhi experience, but that comes by making the effort. Now, I will try to summarize the journey to self-realization or Atma Sakshatkar as I have understood from my study of holy science. Okay? What I have understood from that book, the study is this. Each of us is a spark of divinity. And spiritual consciousness, Adhyatmik Chetana, or soul consciousness, is our essential nature. That is Sat, Chit, Anand. But the soul or Atma is covered by three bodies. The causal body made up of thoughts, the astral body made up of energy, and the physical body made up of matter. So, the process of ascension back to spiritual consciousness is by spiritual development, Adhyatmik Unnati. That is, can be called purification of the heart, Chitta Shuddhi. Swami Sri Yukteswarji explains in detail about that. Now, it is not so simple. Why? Because there are 5 obstacles, kleshas, pancha kleshas. They are putting up resistance to the process of ascension. So you can look up in the book for details. These 5 kleshas are avidya, asmita, abhinivesha, raga, dvesha. But then we should not feel discouraged because there is hope. Because God has endowed each jiva with heart's natural love or Shraddha, as Swami Sri Yukteswarji beautifully explains in the book. That is what our yearning to get back to the divine source or God from where we have come. That is Shraddha, that is real devotion. But we need to constantly motivate ourselves to make the right effort to settle in our real nature. To make the right effort to settle in our real nature by aligning with the power of divine love and thus withdrawing from all manifestations of ignorance. Actually, we can think of it like this. The whole creation has come up by the outgoing force or apara prakriti or maya, which is dividing the one single substance, the reality, Brahman, Parabrahman. That is by the power of maya, that is dividing itself into so many, and it is the outgoing force. God also is drawing us back. He has given power, independence to maya to do the job of taking us out. Then He is also drawing us back by the power of the Shraddha, our heart's natural love. So what we need to do then, every moment we have got free choice or independence. We can go with the power of maya and get diffused or diluted or, that way, move away from the source. Or we can align with the incoming force and then draw closer and closer to the reality. So, now you see how important it is to make the right effort. And without this conscious right effort, then what happens? We are subjected to push and pull. Unknowingly, sometimes we yield to God's love and draw a little closer. We get a little glimpse. And sometimes, or many times, or most of the time, we are pushed by Maya outside. And then we are tossed willy-nilly on the samsara sagar. That means we go up and down all the time. That is why conscious and right effort is the key to progress and eventual success. So, effort is progress. Okay? And an effort always brings the result, which many saints have told. A famous Bengali adage tells us charmingly, Kashta korle kishta pabe. That means if you are making the effort, then we will find God. If we make the effort. And similarly, a great saint of Tamil Nadu, he said, Muyachi tan Thiruvinai Aakkum. That means if you are making the effort, then you are going to get the result, surely. And Swami Sri Yukteswarji tells us very beautifully that one. And Paramahansa Yoganandaji once told, this is the statement he liked the most in Autobiography Yogi, very inspiring for him. What is that? Everything in future will improve if you are making a spiritual effort now. Beautiful, isn't it? Everything in future will improve if you are making a spiritual effort now. Okay, let us have a short story break. In the Autobiography 12th chapter, Yukteswarji told stories to Guruji from his early life as requested by Guruji. But he said, I will tell you a few stories, each one with a moral. And his eyes were twinkling with joy as he told this. So I will also try to attempt, but I don't know how my eyes will twinkle with joy. I will just tell the story. But with a moral. This story you can go through the Satsanga talk by Swami Anandamayi, Kriya Yoga plus devotion. You will find. I am just giving a small summary of that. Swami Anandamayi tells us he was undergoing internship under the world famous architect of those times, Frank Lloyd Wright. And in his group, there were people from all over the world. There was one lady who offered to make a special cake for the whole community. So the student was full of enthusiasm and tried to, got a very good recipe. And with a lot of enthusiasm, he was preparing everything, working very hard. So then all the work done, cake was ready, it was baked. Then she wanted to taste before serving. And Swami Anandamayi tells us, you should just you should have watched how the facial expression of that lady changed. When she was about to taste, there was a triumph on her face. Wow, the job is done. As she finished tasting, the whole face changed completely. Why? She realized that she made a mistake, a big blunder. What was that? Instead of using sugar, she used salt. So the whole cake was to be dumped. It could not be used. Now, using this, Swami Anandamayi illustrates the important point. This is the moral. What is that? Yoga is a recipe. So that should be followed precisely for best result. If you make any changes as per your convenience or as per your misunderstanding, then the result will not come. So, the fundamental principles of do's and don'ts, the ethical, moral principles, to follow them, they are very important. That's the foundation, Yama Niyama principles of Ashtanga Yoga. If we don't give importance to them and think that, oh, I got Kriya Yoga, highest technique, so I do not worry about all these things, then the result will not come. So we have to follow all the prescriptions and proscriptions and all the procedures which are given. We should follow to the best of our ability thoroughly. Now, we are all very fortunate. That means we have done a lot of good karma in the past. That we have been drawn to the feet of great avatars who are showing us the right way to freedom without going here and there. Just straightforward path, looking neither to the left nor to the right, but we can go straight. This path encompasses higher age scientific yoga meditation teachings of ancient India. Isn't it beautiful? Resurrected by Mahavatar Babaji for this age and then simply named as Kriya Yoga. So one may think that the techniques like Kriya Yoga can be practiced only by highly evolved people. Somebody may feel I am just an ordinary person. Can I also find God realization through an advanced method like this? Now, Autobiography of Yogi, last chapter again. Guruji assures us that ordinary man is not shut from the possibility of divine communion. He needs for soul recollection no more than just three things only. One, Kriya Yoga technique, which means all that involved in the Kriya process. Then a daily observance of the moral precepts. Then an ability to sincerely cry, Lord, I yearn to know thee. That means simple devotion from the heart, heartfelt devotion. You see, so simple, isn't it? That means we can summarize like this, these 3 points. Practice of the yogic science of religion. That is 1. 2. Learning to behave, an essential life skill. We should learn how to behave. 3rd, yearning, love for God, the fuel that propels us to God. So, after many struggles, advancements and reverses, with undaunted and undiscouraged efforts in the right direction, then we come to higher stages of evolution in our journey. And then we begin to discover the utter simplicity of the truth. We find that God alone is simple and everything else is complex. As the saint told Guruji at the Kaligat temple, God alone is simple, everything else is complex. But before we reach that point, constant motivation to keep on making the right effort is very important. So, incorporating a few things in our daily life will keep us motivated and keep us on course. As I have felt through my own observance, my own study of Guruji's teachings, etc., I am giving these few points. 1. Regularity in sadhana, that is meditation and study, swadhyaya. Study is also very important, especially Guruji's lessons. If you have taken the basic lessons, review them again and again, read the Kriya lessons again and again. Also, if you can take the supplementary lessons and augment your understanding of the basic lessons, whatever is given there, it will be very wonderful if we can do that. So basically, then study of Guruji's teachings, because when we study Guruji's teachings, we are absorbing Guruji's vibrations directly. These are not just reading words. Behind the words is Guruji's spiritual, energy or spiritual power is there behind. So regularity in sadhana is number 1. Second, satsanga or good spiritual company. That is sattvic company. Company of sattvic, souls. That is very important. This we can do by regularly attending group meditations in our mandali, kendra or ashram or wherever, or in our own home if we don't have facility like that. With others who are also practitioners. So group meditation is very important. That will help us. 3. Guru Seva or service to the Guru, to his organization. Because when Guruji was in physical form, he would have very easily understood by serving the Guru, we can find attunement with him. When he is not in physical form, how do we serve the Guru? Guruji told us, this organization will be Guruji's body. So that means if you serve YSS SRF, that means we are serving Guru. Remember that. How do we do this service? Various ways we can do. Attending group meditation is a great service. First of all, doing our own sadhana deeply is a great service. Then, helping financially the organization or helping in various ways, volunteering for various activities. In that way, we can do Guru Seva and also service to others, Paropakar. So with this type of service, then we find that we are able to remain motivated to make the right effort. Then we have to back it up, as we said before. Self-control, moderation, balanced living. That means we don't neglect any dimension. Keep the body fit, develop the powers of the mind, control your emotions, and have direct personal experience of God, as Guruji has given the How to Live curriculum. So self-control, moderation in everything, balanced life, right thinking. In other words, cultivating sattvic qualities. We have a very wonderful source in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, slokas 1 to 3. 26 qualities are listed by Bhagavan Krishna, Daivik Sampat. So these qualities we can develop throughout the year. One simple way is take one quality for 2 weeks. Though in 1 year we can cover all. And next year, then we will be able to do better than this year. In this way, every year after year, we will make continuous progress. Okay, then read spiritual diary every day before you come out of your room, before you come out of your house. So in this way, we can, again, keep ourselves motivated. 4th point. 5th point, introspection. Practicing silence and stillness. Regular retreats. Many devotees still are trying to understand the importance of retreats. It has still not become, it is not easily understood why retreats are necessary. Because day after day, if you are doing the same thing, we are in the routine. So mind can become a little bit, mechanical. Get used to the routine. It can become dull. It can become uninspiring, the routine. But when we take occasional breaks and use it for stillness, silence, communion with God, thinking about what is happening in our lives, where are we headed, are we going in the right direction, and how to get alignment, things like that, retreats will very much be helpful. Okay? So with all this, then we'll be able to keep ourselves motivated. Okay, let us have one more short story break. This story, we also have a book for children, The Two Frogs in Trouble. So very nice story, which is not only meant for the children, it is meant for each one of us. Because the story is very simple. That is one fat frog and a very thin frog. Both of them, they are hopping together. They are going on walk. Then they discovered this nice treat, milk pail. So they thought, wow, we can drink a lot of milk. They were sitting on the edge and trying to drink. They lost the balance and both of them fell inside. Then they found it was difficult to climb out because the walls were very steep. So then they started swimming. After a long time, feeling tired and seeing that there is no point because there is no way out, the fat frog then just gave up and drowned. But the little frog said that life is too sweet. I don't want to die. I will keep paddling no matter, even if my little feet fall off. And he kept on paddling, fighting for hours. And when he thought he cannot do any more, almost reached the end. But then he found suddenly solid matter below the feet. Because by the churning, by swimming round and round, the butter has formed. So then he could jump out of from that solid formation. So this is a very simple story, but the way Guruji explains about this story, that's very marvelous. Guruji says, this story depicts life as it is. After fighting adversities ineffectively, like the big frog, if you give up, you will give in to your troubles. That means you are accepting that is the way of life. But if you keep on fighting with determination, your difficulties will be overcome. Then some answer from the Divine Beloved will come to you and you will be able to hop out of your troubles. So be like the little frog. By all means, never give up. Keep fighting the righteous battle of life with utmost loving determination, and you, the soul, shall joyfully win. So, we have to resurrect ourselves from weakness, ignorance, consciousness of disease, and above all, from all frailties of mortal habits that beset your life. In this way, we get challenges at all levels. This is what is described in God Talks with Arjuna so beautifully by Guruji, how this battle is going on at various levels. So, we have to keep on fighting. That is the way to go. And also, we need to learn how to deal with failures and setbacks. Because when things go very smoothly, it is easy to go on traveling. But when we encounter failures or setbacks, then how to handle them, how to face the situation with right attitude, and to persevere with the right effort, how to do that. Because there are many obstacles in our journey. Like some of them, laziness, physical laziness and mental laziness, and spiritual laziness also. Procrastination. So we'll keep on postponing. I will do the effort later on. And doubting whether it will really work or not. So these type of obstacles are created by the ego. We only create those obstacles. So, but then how to overcome them? A few, helpful advice from sayings of Paramahansa Yogananda. One student complained to Guruji, I am too deeply enmeshed in mistakes to make any spiritual progress. My bad habits are so strong that I am worn out by my efforts to fight them. Sounds familiar? We all have felt that way, isn't it? So this student on our behalf, he is expressing to Guruji this concern. Then Guruji tells very beautifully, shall you be able to fight tomorrow better than today? Why add today's mistakes to yesterday? You have to turn to God sometime. Why not do it now? Just give yourself to Him and say, Lord, not your good, I am your child. You must take care of me. So simple, isn't it? Not your good, I am your child. You must take care of me. And if you keep trying, you will improve. A saint is a sinner who never gave up. That means never accept defeat and go on making the effort. Another student, he was dubious about his power of spiritual perseverance. Then to encourage, Guruji told, the Lord is not distant, but near. I see Him everywhere. Then the man protested, but sir, you are a master. Then Guruji replied, all souls are equal. The only difference between you and me is that I made the effort. I showed God that I love Him and He came to me. Love is the magnet from which God cannot escape. Very beautiful, isn't it? That means if we keep on making the effort and show to God, in spite of all drawbacks and setbacks, we go on loving God. So then God cannot escape from us. Another student, he was excusing the lack of spiritual progress on the grounds that he had difficulty in overcoming the faults. Very logical, isn't it? But perceiving a deeper cause, Guruji said, the Lord doesn't mind your faults, but He minds your indifference. So we have to analyze and see whether we are getting into this mode of justification. That we justify ourselves saying that because I spend so much of time in overcoming my faults, that's why I'm not making spiritual progress. But you see, just like the previous example, if our motive or our focus is to love God, then in spite of our setbacks and failures, we'll go on making the effort. Now, another point, because we all have used this excuse many times. This man lamented that things were going badly for him. It must be my karma, he said. I can't seem to succeed in anything. Then Guruji said, then you should make a greater effort. Then Guruji said, forget the past and trust more in God. Forget the past and trust more in God. Our fate is not predestined by Him. Many of us have the misunderstanding, sometime or other. We had or we still have. So that should be very clearly removed from our consciousness. Our fate is not predestined by Him. Nor is karma the sole factor, though our lives are influenced by our past thoughts and past activities. So if you are not happy the way life is turning out, change the pattern. That is all that is required. I don't like to hear people sigh and ascribe present failure to past life errors. To do so is spiritual laziness. Get busy and weed the garden of your life. So there is no excuse for us. We have to go on making the effort only. But then there's one more point. Making the effort does not mean that we strain. Because when we think of the word effort, what do we think? We immediately think of, that exerting ourselves and straining. But that is not the correct, right understanding. Because what we need is effortless effort. That means along with the effort, we need to learn to relax also. How to relax? For example, we have observed people are moving heavy things. How do? They all make an effort, then they all relax. Make an effort, they relax. Similarly, in our energization exercise, Guruji tells us, tense with willpower, relax and feel. And when we do the techniques, after finishing the techniques, we just enjoy the stillness without doing anything. Relax and feel. So, this is very important to remember. It is not just go on making the effort. It is not that. We have to make active effort and then we need to relax and enjoy. Same thing is true for affirmation, prayer or chant or anything. So we express our devotion or our willpower or determination, whatever. But after that, we need to relax and just enjoy the fruits of our labor. And also one more thing, it seems like a contradiction that we have to make serious effort in order to make spiritual progress. At the same time, we are supposed to be very joyous, remain joyous, cheerful, light-hearted, not to take this show too seriously, not to get emotionally involved. It's very strange, isn't it? But this paradox comes from God Himself. Because out of His infinite bliss, He has created the whole creation of duality. And painstakingly, He keeps on, running this show. And He is detached from this show. He is always in bliss. At the same time, He is very busy running this show. So we also have to learn this balance. How to detach from the show and experience our oneness with God in meditation. And in our activity, we need to express that determination to just do our part in the cosmic drama, cosmic dream show. We have to play our part to the best of our ability. It is so important to understand. That's why right in the beginning we use the prayer that way. That is, we get the ability to enjoy in stillness God's presence by making the effort. And also we equip ourselves to fight the battle of life. That we are equipped with that. That means calmly active. We hold on to that spiritual vibrations and then we just carry on our outer activities with determination. No matter if reverses are happening or challenges are coming in our way. Also, one more thing which is very helpful so that we don't get too much emotionally involved in the drama is a good sense of humor. One great saint of Tamil Nadu told something which we feel that, how can that be true? How can we practice that? He said, Idukkan varangal naguga, which means when you are in trouble, smile. How can you practice that? But if you really do that, then it will be very helpful. An important key for sustaining our efforts is willpower. We get a lot of encouragement from Guruji in his teachings about how to develop our willpower, which will enable us to make the right effort. One such source is Where There Is Light. Chapters 7 and 9 especially. I am not going to go through these because this will be your homework. Chapters 7 and 9 of Where There Is Light. Okay, now one more thing. We also have our own preconceived notions about spiritual progress. So we should be aware of that, because these are our own preconceived notions. For example, again from sayings of Paramahansa Yogananda, earnest due student expecting overnight results as if by magic was disappointed that after a week's effort in meditation, he could detect no sign of God's presence within. Then Guruji told him, if you don't discover the pearl by 1 or 2 divings, don't blame the ocean. Find fault with your diving. You haven't yet plunged deep enough. Okay, one more devotee said, Sir, I don't seem to be progressing in meditation. I see and hear nothing. Then Guruji replied, seek God for His own sake. The highest perception is to feel Him as bliss, welling up from your infinite depths. Don't yearn for visions, spiritual phenomena, or thrilling experiences. The path to the divine is not a circus. So, we need to understand how to measure our spiritual progress, because this is a very important thing to know. Otherwise, we may erroneously surmise that we are not progressing. It is good to remember, it is not what we get in meditation, but what we become through meditation that is important. That means the results of meditation is more important than results in meditation. For example, Guruji said, the greatest evidence of spiritual consciousness is seen in a person's real inner effort to go upstream against old wrong habits towards real lasting happiness. So, then we need to ask this question during our introspection. How much of concentrated, loving spiritual effort do I make every day? This is a question we need to ask. How much concentrated, loving spiritual effort do I make every day? So this answer to this question will reflect our state of spiritual advancement. Also, there are a few other indicators of spiritual progress. As mentioned by Guruji in many places, I am just giving a few points. 1. An increasing sense of calmness and well-being. We feel more and more peaceful, more and more calm. We feel that I am doing quite fine. Then, feeling of joy naturally bubbling up from within. For no reason, we are feeling very joyous. That is our natural state manifesting outside, without hindrance from the ego. 3. Kindness in dealing with others. No matter how they behave, we are very kind to them. 4th, even-mindedness when facing frustrations of life. All of us face frustrations sometime or other in different ways. But then how to remain even-minded even during those times? If we are making the spiritual effort, we find that we are manifesting that more and more. Then deeper understanding and wisdom. Intuitively knowing what is the right thing to do at the right time. That's a very great, insight we get through our efforts in meditation and efforts in spiritual advancement. Then self-control and its resultant feeling of freedom from limiting thoughts and bad habits. Because this is also a great indication. There are many devotees who are previously afflicted with bad habits, and after practicing meditation for some time, they were able to overcome that. I myself I've shared my story, how I came to the path. A fellow student in my college who had given up the habit of drugs by reading Autobiography of a Yogi and practicing the techniques for a few months. So this is the result of the meditation. And above all, a growing love and yearning for God. That's a sure indication that we are making progress. Growing love and yearning for God. Okay. Now, let us see some salient points from today's talk so that the points we can take with us. 1. Constantly remind ourselves what is the purpose of life. Okay. That's why we quoted all that, holy science, samadhi and all that. Then remain motivated to stay on course to achieve the goal. Because the moment we stop making the effort, then we slide backwards. We don't want to allow that. Then be content in making the right effort now, not concerned about the results, because they are sure to come. That's why Bhagavan Krishna told us so beautifully, the karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Making the effort is in our hands, giving results in God's hands. So simple. Then next is be content making little steps in progress. Because as Lao Tzu said, journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But then just beginning is not enough. We have to keep on taking the steps. Then, as Guruji explained, perseverance is the magic of spiritual success. And finally, loving, joyous and effortless effort is desirable. Not strenuous effort, but effortless effort. So this we can further summarize as Banat, Banat, Banjai. As Lahiri Mahashaya encourages all the Kriya Yogis, all those who are doing sadhana, Kriya Yoga sadhana, Lahiri Mahashaya's encouragement is there. Keep on keeping on. Banat, Banat, Banjai. So the formula we have to remember is effort, effort, effort. Constant loving effort that wins God. Okay? So in order to remember that it is not just only in meditation, but also in outer activity. In the right way we have to function. That balance is required. So I will close by quoting this sloka from Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 30th sloka. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasya vigata jvara. That means relinquish all activities unto me. And with attention concentrated on the soul, devoid of selfish egotism and expectation. Be engaged in the battle of activity free from feverish worry. That's so clearly Bhagavan Krishna tells us how we should function in this life, how we can get liberation quickly. So let us remember that. And then I will read a poem so that we can take inspiration from Guruji. This poem is from Songs of the Soul, which tells us how with a devotional attitude and nurturing our love for God, we can finally catch hold of the sly eluder, as Guruji says. The title of the poem itself is so beautiful, My Prisoner. Long didst thou hide. I would advise you to close your eyes and feel as if Guruji is talking to you directly, to your soul, to your heart. Long didst thou hide beneath the static of my restless thoughts. Long didst thou flee in the chambers of eerie ether. At last I hunted thee down in quiet desert dunes of my desirelessness. Fastened with strong cords of devotion, thou art my prisoner. I will lock thee in the cell of silence, secure behind bars of closed eyes. Within the temple of my dreams, beloved captive, I will hide thee in a bower of caresses. Precious prisoner, I will enshrine thee on the altar of my secret songs. Infinite personage, I will cloister thee behind strong walls of my undying love. So let us do one affirmation, the prayer which you had used in the beginning, and with that we close. So please take a deep breath, just relax the body. First we'll practice loudly, then softly, then more softly, and then mentally, and then with that we'll close. Let us begin. O divine refuge, with every powerful stroke of my spiritual effort, I am moving nearer to thee. I shall never give up, for I know thou dost eagerly look for my coming. O divine refuge, with every powerful stroke of my spiritual effort, I am moving nearer to thee. I shall never give up, for I know thou dost eagerly look for my coming. O divine refuge, with every powerful stroke of my spiritual effort, I am moving nearer to thee. I shall never give up, for I know thou dost eagerly look for my coming. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May God and Gurus ever bless us.